Coming up today, looking for a fresh start, President Park Geun-hye and the new leadership of the ruling party vowed to pull in the same direction for the sake of the nation. The government and the ruling party agreed to cut electricity fees to help families burdened with high power bills as Korea endures one of its most intense and prolonged heat waves in years. First, it's day 6 of the Rio Olympics. Team Korea wins 2 more medals, 1 gold and 1 bronze in the women's individual archery. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Friday, August 12th here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this morning, President Park Geun-hye and the new leaders of the ruling Saenuri Party have agreed to usher in a greater spirit of cooperation following talks at the presidential office of Chang Hye-jin. The president asked them to fully support her policy initiatives as she enters the final 18 months of her administration. Song Ji-sun starts us off.
President Park Geun-hye sat down with the recently elected leaders of the ruling Saenuri Party at the presidential office on Thursday. With a deadly heat wave continuing to hold Korea in its grip, reforming the nation's decades-old electricity billing system took center stage. The Saenuri Party's new leader Lee Jung-hyun suggested 3-way talks on reforming the system that he said puts an unnecessarily heavy financial burden on citizens. Under the current system, which was designed to lower energy consumption, a 4-person household that keeps the air conditioning on for 8 hours a day will see their electricity bill soar up to nearly $300 a month. President Park promised to announce a follow-up measure on the issue.
근데 올해 이제 특히 그 이상 고온으로 너무 이제 많은 국민들이 힘들어 하시기 때문에 정부에서 쭉 그 어떻게 이거를 좀 좋은 방안이 없을까 검토를 해왔고 또 지금도 하고 있는 중인데 이 당과 잘 협의를 해서 조만간에 그 방안을 국민에게 발표할 수 있도록 그렇게 하겠습니다.
The president also asked for cooperation from the political realm on passing urgent bills directly related to people's day-to-day lives, with a former aide and now the ruling party leader answering her call.
As you mentioned, we are aware of the urgency of outstanding issues at the National Assembly, like the fiscal stimulus plan and multiple bills aimed at revitalizing the economy.
The new ruling party leaders vowed to follow the president's request to work with the political realm, the government and the presidential office for the public, and to help the Park administration's policies bear fruit. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
Now, a matter of hours after those talks took place, an agreement had been reached to cut residential electricity tariffs for the July to September period by over $380 million. Our Ji Myung-gil has more.
After policy consultations between the ruling Saenuri Party and the government, the two sides decided to lower electricity bills.
We've decided to lower electricity tariffs between July and September to help residents suffering from the current heat wave. We will soon devise a team comprised of party members, government officials and experts to discuss the country's electricity billing system.
The lower electricity tariffs are expected to help 22 million households save an estimated cost of $381 million. Currently, Korea uses a progressive billing system for household electricity, which was introduced during the oil crisis of the 1970s, in a bid to curb power use and blackouts during peak summer and winter periods. Earlier in the day at a general meeting, lawmakers of the main opposition Minju Party of Korea said they were the first ones to have brought the controversial electricity rate system to the discussion table.
We're getting positive responses from the public as we've brought up the electricity billing issue. We will do our best to lessen the burden for our citizens and overhaul the current billing system.
Floor leader Woo also went on to say that the ruling bloc's rate cut plan was a makeshift measure, stressing the need for fundamental solutions. He added that the billing system was not applied to industries that account for over half of the country's energy consumption. Meanwhile, the minor opposition People's Party said it will seek to change the internal rules of the Korea Electric Power Corporation, the country's main electricity provider. Kim Young-gil, Arirang News.
The top missile defense chief in the U.S. military is in Seoul to reassure the Korean public about the safety of the soon-to-be deployed THAAD missile defense system. He said the U.S. plans to prove THAAD's effectiveness through tests against missiles similar to the ones North Korea uses. Our Defense Ministry correspondent Kim Hyun-bin has the details.
The United States is planning to conduct a test of its THAAD missile defense system next year, using missiles similar to the kind North Korea uses. Vice Admiral James D. Searing, the director of the U.S. Missile Defense Agency, made the remarks in a briefing on Thursday in Seoul, where he also outlined THAAD's capabilities. He said that THAAD has been tested 13 times in the last decade and has an interception rate of 100%. The missiles that will be used in the test are intermediate-range ballistic missiles, which are similar to the mid-range Musdan missiles fired by North Korea.
The testing that MDA has done with the THAAD system has progressed from short-range ballistic missiles to medium-range ballistic missiles up to next year, including intermediate-range ballistic missiles. We have tested the range of those threats or threat representative targets over the last decade.
Searing is in Seoul to explain the technical and safety aspects of the THAAD system and to discuss follow-up measures for the planned deployment in 2017. He said that numerous safety tests have been conducted not only in Guam, but also in locations where the THAAD radar is deployed around the world. He sought to reassure reporters that the same procedures will be in place before the system comes to South Korea.
We have population centers close by in several of the radar cases that operate and have been operating for up to a decade safely and without incident. And I'm confident the same process will be followed here to ensure the safety of the system and the safety of the population.
In addition, he sought to ease concerns about the potential health risks posed by the system's radar, saying there's no threat to animals or the environment.
Vice Admiral Searing also said the U.S. is currently working on the deployment in close coordination with U.S. versus Korea. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
Now, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has described the critical security alliance with South Korea as the key to peace and stability in Northeast Asia. He made the remarks in a congratulatory message ahead of South Korea's Liberation Day, which is August 15th, next Monday. Kerry also said the Seoul-Washington partnership continues to thrive based on the shared values of freedom, democracy, human rights and the rule of law. As the friendship strengthens, Kerry said new frontiers of cooperation have opened, such as cyber, space, climate change and global health. Kerry said the two countries can make the world safer and healthier, and he wished all Koreans a wonderful and joyful holiday celebration. Well, it's time now to catch up on the latest action from the 2016 Olympics in Rio. And those of you watching us in Korea can start off your morning with some great news, as Team Korea has just grabbed 2 more medals in women's archery. Chang Hye-jin has won her second gold at this year's Olympics in the women's individual archery event. Chang defeated Germany's Lisa Unruh 6-2 in the gold medal match, taking Team Korea's gold medal tally to 5 so far in Rio. Gibo Bae, Korea's former Olympic champion from the 2012 London Games, won the bronze. Considering she was the gold medal favourite prior to the competition, Gi did look fairly disappointed with her performance despite finishing on the podium. Another medal favourite from Korea, Chemi Sun, was knocked out in the quarter-finals. With 3 gold medals in the men's and women's archery events this year, Korea has once again cemented its position as the nation to beat in the field. Now, some history is being made at the Rio Olympics on day 6. Golf is back as an Olympic sport, and the men have started their first rounds. The men's event will last 4 days, with the medals to be dished out on Sunday local time. This is the sport's first time in the Olympics in 120 years. Some of the big-name players to keep an eye on are Bubba Watson and Ricky Fowler of the U.S., Justin Rose of Great Britain, and South Korea's An Byung-hoon. Korea will be very well represented when the women's golf event starts next Wednesday local time. Korea will field 4 of the world's top 10 female players, including Park In-bi and Kim Se-young. U.S. swimming legend Michael Phelps, who has already made Olympic history with the most number of gold medals, 21, is going after another in the 200-metre individual medley final that's set to begin at 11 a.m. Korea time, around 5 hours from now. Phelps is also bidding to become the first swimmer to win the same event at 4 consecutive Olympics. The final will see him taking on his American rival Ryan Lochte, who's expected to push Phelps close. Let's now take a look at the current medal tally and the upcoming events to keep an eye out for. Now, in other news, the Korean government has unveiled a 5-year plan to tackle the overuse and misuse of antibiotics in the nation. The move comes as studies show lots of doctors in Korea are prescribing antibiotics for ailments as mild as the common cold. Kim Jong-soo has more.
The Korean government will launch a 5-year plan starting in 2016 to combat the growing issue of the so-called superbacteria, or an emerging strain of bacteria that have become antibiotic resistant. The decision came during a meeting chaired by Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-won on Thursday.
Antibiotics are essential for the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases, but frequent abuse has resulted in the growth of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. This poses a significant threat to national health security and is a global problem as well.
Health experts generally do not recommend the use of antibiotics for treating the common cold. However, prescription rates to treat such illness were as high as 73% in 2002 and stood at 45% as of 2015. Seoul plans to reduce the general rate of antibiotic prescriptions for all diseases by 20% within the next 5 years. Korea's antibiotic usage rate for every 1,000 people was 35% higher than the average of 12 other OECD nations. This has resulted in an alarmingly high rate of superbacteria. The government's new 5-year plan will further encourage medical institutions to reduce their prescription of antibiotics by offering a higher tax benefit to those with significantly lower prescription rates. The plan will also look to develop more experts in the field of antibiotics. The government will also launch educational campaigns targeting the public to help illustrate the proper use of antibiotics. Kim Jong-soo, Arirang News.
Now, Samsung Electronics has unveiled its latest supersized smartphone from its extremely popular Galaxy Note series to Korean consumers. The Note 7 will officially hit the shelves next week. The device is a big upgrade on its predecessor and packs impressive specs and a range of highly innovative features. Our Kim Min-ji went to try it out and filed this report.
More freedom and greater convenience. That's what Samsung Electronics is promoting in its latest addition to the Galaxy series, the Note 7, which the company unveiled on its home turf at a media event on Thursday. Samsung gave the device the number 7, even though the previous device in the series was the Note 5, in order to line up with the Galaxy S7 smartphone launched earlier in the year. Above all, it says it put great effort into breaking the perception that there is no end to innovation.
Samsung Electronics was the pioneer of the tablet smartphone. The Note 7 is more complete. We hope to open a new era in the global market. We put a great deal of emphasis on using top-notch technology and boosting the software and services.
The phablet, which has a price tag of roughly $890, is similar in appearance to the Galaxy S7 Edge. Samsung has stepped up the features of the S Pen, allowing for underwater use, as well as a function that offers foreign language translation. Also creating a lot of buzz, the Note 7 comes with iris recognition, promising users more security and greater privacy. The feature is the first of its kind in the Galaxy series.
In a split second, users can unlock their smartphones and engage in mobile banking without having to go through the process of difficult verification procedures.
Samsung has started taking pre-orders for the device, and over 200,000 people signed up in the first 2 days. That's about double what it was for the Galaxy S7 released in March.
Samsung's marketing and promotion of the Note 7 have boosted its early popularity. The product is actually very impressive, especially the S Pen and biometric authentication. Sales are expected to surpass those of its predecessor.
While Apple is scheduled to release its new iPhone next month, experts say that unless it has some game-changing features, Samsung can expect to see strong sales, which could help lift the profits of its mobile division in the latter half of the year. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Well, those are the stories we are following on this Friday morning here in Seoul. Have a great day, and if we don't see you, a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.